applying to extend your stay in Canada as a visitor. A lot of folks whose work permits are expiring or who want to, in general, extend their stay in Canada as a visitor have this question: what to mention for the reason of extension for a visitor record. Visitor record or a visitor extension is one of those applications that help you extend your stay in Canada as a visitor. How to apply for a visitor record, and most importantly, what to mention in the reason for extension. This is what we are going to talk about in this video. So stay tuned until the end. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Dhruv. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. At our firm FHC, we assist all prospective immigrants with their immigration to Canada. If you are an aspirant, you need assistance, here is our contact information. Feel free to contact us and we would be happy to assist you. If you would like to chat with me or any other RCIC in our firm, you can book an appointment. The link to book an appointment is in the description of this video. We would be happy to have a chat with you. Now, before going into the nitty-gritty details of a visitor record, let's quickly take a second to answer the comment of the week. This comment comes on our Nova Scotia PNP skilled worker comprehensive guide video. And the question is, how much time is it taking for receiving the nomination? Excellent question. The answer is that Nova Scotia is currently prioritizing certain priority sectors: healthcare, social service, and construction. And these are the PNP, or these are the categories in which Nova Scotia is actually processing the applications in a timely manner. For all the other occupations, Nova Scotia is mostly keeping the applications aside and not making any decision. This is unfortunate, but this is the sad truth that depending on your occupation, Nova Scotia will process your application. So there is no set timeline that I can give you. I hope this helps. Now, coming back to the visitor record. So visitor record is an application, also called the visitor extension, that helps you extend your stay in Canada as a visitor. Now, guys, a lot of you guys think that the visitor visa stamp that you have in your passport gives you the stay, the authorization, but that's incorrect. If your status is expiring, your status document is expiring, you need to apply to extend that status, or you need to apply for a visitor record in order to continue staying in Canada as a visitor. You need to be authorized to stay in Canada. If you are not authorized, if you do not have any application in process, you don't have a visitor record, you are living here in an unauthorized way, it is illegal. Now, when applying for a visitor record, we have a step-by-step video over here. You can see that, in which we talk about the entire process for visitor record. But the most important thing, apart from the form that is 5708 that you have to prepare, well, you need proof of funds and you need your ID documents. But then another important aspect is the reason. What should be the reason to apply for a visitor record? What do you tell the officer so that your application goes through without any hiccups? Now, guys, first of all, let me tell you what to avoid. Now, a lot of folks want to continue staying in Canada because they are in the express entry pool, they have a good score, they are awaiting draws, they want to see if they will obtain a draw or not. Now, this is a genuine reason for most of the people. However, you have to think how an immigration officer assesses this. When you tell an immigration officer, when an applicant applies and the reason for application is that I want to secure permanent residency in Canada, that's why I want you to approve this temporary resident status that allows me to stay in Canada as a visitor, there is a contradiction there. So the reasoning where you want to buy some time in order to get a draw to apply for permanent residency is in itself not consistent with the visitor record application, and a lot of folks get refused because of this. Now, if you are planning on staying in Canada and it is because you want to extend your stay here so that you have a shot at the draw, or you get the draw and you continue to stay here while PR is processed, you have to be careful how you phrase it in the letter of submission. The temporary intent of a visitor record is contradicted by the permanent intent of a PR application that you want to submit, and hence the officer has no choice but to question your intentions and in cases refuse the application for your visitor record. Now, how can you present this in a better way? Guys, when you're applying for visitor record, there are numerous reasons for which you may want to apply for visitor record. If you have stayed in Canada for 2-3 years, you are at a point where you have your entire life here. The day your work permit expires, it's very hard for you to pack everything up and leave. That day your permit expires, maybe your last day of employment, you need to wrap up your employment, then you need to wrap up all your affairs in Canada. That includes your housing, that includes your stuff that you have, that includes your bank accounts, that include any other things that you are invested in. So that means you have to pack up all of those things, and it may take some time. And hence one of the reasons asking for a visitor record can be that I want some time so I can wrap all my life and then be ready to leave. And while I do this, I want to make sure that I maintain my legal status. Kindly give me an extension, kindly give me some extra time so I can take care of my affairs before I'm ready to depart Canada. Another common reason folks use is they want to spend some time in Canada with family or with friends, or travel around the country after their permit has expired, get some time to do that before they are ready to leave. Again, that's also an okay explanation. That's a good explanation, and you could go ahead with that. Another one, maybe if there are some hiccups, you need to stay here to complete some procedures. For example, maybe you have some health related issues, or there are some bureaucratic procedures that you need to take care of before leaving. You can mention those as well. However, the first reason that we have told, wrapping my affairs, essentially encompasses all of these things. And oftentimes we've seen officers have no problem, they'll give you some time so that you can wrap up your affairs before you're ready to leave the country. That's it. In short, you should avoid mentioning reasons where your intention is permanent residence, or your intention is further staying in Canada, trying to stay in Canada in a permanent fashion. If you are mentioning this kind of reasoning, that contradicts with the temporary nature of a visitor record, and hence your application can be refused. From an officer's point of view, think about this. You are applying for a temporary visa while you're saying the reason for this temporary visa because I want to settle in Canada permanently, and hence that creates a contradiction, and the officer has no choice but to question your application. That's it for this video, guys. In summary, we've talked about for visitor record. First of all, how to apply. For that detail, you can watch our video on step-by-step guide. Again, we've talked about the form, the documents required, but most importantly in this video we've covered what kind of reason you can use to apply for a visitor record. Guys, if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you are notified about any new video that we upload. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.